Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a video giving my thoughts on whether or not the guy we see at the end of the Walking Dead Season 6 Comic-Con trailer, pointing a gun at Daryl, giving him shit, is the television series version of Dwight. Okay, great. So this one will be like another Q&A based on your guys' questions. We'll start with this one, and then we'll get into some more afterwards. So this would be like number 42, or something like that. Is it 42, 40? Yeah. Nah, it doesn't really matter. It's another Walking Dead video for you guys. There it is. That's what it is. So this one came from Sam Sisk, and he or she says, because Sam can be either male or female. I knew a guy named Sam. Samuel. Samantha. Yeah, it's nothing weird about that. The question is, hey Trev, I was thinking that the guy with the blonde hair in the trailer was Dwight, actually, and that's his backstory of how he got the burns. Thus, the wife's being there, haha. And you know what the punishment is for being with his wife's, in quotes, face burn. I don't know why you quote that. It's not a face burn. It's a supposed face burn. Okay, so you can see in the trailer at 3:06, please make more Walking Dead videos. Hey, man, you know, I do the best I can, okay? I can oblige. I'll make as many as I can make for you guys. That's what I'll do. So, good question. I like it. We kind of touched on it quickly in the breakdown videos and that where we talked about it. But I decided let's do a whole video on it, or at least a whole Q&A starting with it. And let's talk about the possibilities. So he does look quite a bit like Dwight. I would say that. He's got the hair. They're already creating this kind of, possibly versus type situation between him and Daryl, where, for example, earlier on in the series you had Beth, who kind of had her own villain with, Dawn. And now we have Daryl in Season 6, who seems to be kind of getting his own villain from what we can tell. He's on his own. There's nobody else there. Rick's not around. Aaron's not around. Nobody else is close by. And he's getting into some trouble with this guy. The guy's got him at gunpoint and seems to tie him up, bound, so then he actually, fights his way out of it by the end of the trailer. But you do see the two wives there, the two women there. Now, there is some speculation that the one with the blonde hair at another point in the trailer is actually seen inside Alexandria being cared for because maybe she has become injured. You've got people carrying her in that. So it's really hard to say at this point because we don't know anything about them. But I wanted to include this one in here because he brought up something cool, which is the fact that this guy has two females with him, and part of Dwight's backstory from the Walking Dead comic series, I got a figure of him up there, is that he basically hooked up with one of Negan's wives. Negan has these wives. He's got like a bunch of women that he keeps for himself. He's one of those kind of guys who wants to have like, I don't know, 6 or how many is it, like 8 or something like that, different wives so that he can kind of, pick and choose from. So he's a bad guy. What do you expect? He's a Walking Dead bad guy. He's supposed to have something weird. He doesn't have a fish tank full of zombie heads, but he's got these different wives and these crazy rules. If you break the rules, he takes an iron and he burns your goddamn face with it. So are we seeing Dwight before burnt face mode because he's kind of left the Saviors with a couple of Negan's wives? It's a good prediction. I like Sam's prediction here. I think it makes sense. I do like the idea. That said, I do think it might be a bit early. However, Gimple, since he's taken over the show, we've seen this many times, he really puts in a lot of little, where's World Patriot at? World's not far. These little subtleties in the background and in characters and stuff to set things up really well and really make us care for the characters early on and really show us a long, good story arc. Even for some characters like Bob, for example, look at the difference between how they handled Bob and, I'm going to compare him to T-Dog. Everybody's going to go crazy. They're black. That's why you're comparing them, Trevor. No, but it's a good example because look at how much development Bob got and how much development T-Dog got. 2 different, showrunners. Well, 3 kind of, but with Gimple, Bob was given a great backstory and made us care for him, and it was really well done how they handled that. Flashbacks and the whole bit, alone and all that. The concept, I just really liked how they handled it. But how they handled T-Dog was basically they didn't really, They just he was just kind of there standing around the background. I'm sure we're all going to miss him standing around the background. So, Gimple really, compared to the other showrunners in The Walking Dead, even Darabont kind of did too, but definitely compared to Mazzara. he really does put a lot of little details and intricate little details in the show with regards to foreshadowing and little hints and Easter eggs and misleading us with certain things we see, and there's so many examples of them. Season 5 is the most heavy season with regards to that kind of stuff, I would say. But even Season 4, like we hear the commercial on the radio for Terminus early on in Season 4, when we had no idea about like what this was, and then later on we see it and we're like, oh, they're broadcasting from there, and they heard the commercial then in the trailer. So he really sets stuff up early on for stuff that's going to come in later on. So I really like Sam's prediction. That said, what's the probability? What do I think? Most likely they're just a bunch of new characters they're putting in to fill out time. Most likely. I also have questions too. I've even got one somewhere in here. I don't know where, but of people ask me, do I still think Daryl is Dwight? And, it's hard to say because this guy, man, he does look quite a bit like Dwight, I will say that. So I hope that's where they're going with it. I actually like it because if they do that, then how are they going to handle Daryl? They're going to have two guys with crossbows. Doesn't make sense. The Dwight guy doesn't have a crossbow right now. So, what are they going to do? I guess that'll be an interesting question to see. And, of course, once we get more details and we have more info, I'll let you guys know right away. But at this time right now, it's not enough to say that he is Dwight. It's just a decent prediction from Sam. And we'll have to wait until we get more details. But most likely he's probably just some random new character they've thrown in there to space out Season 6. I also heard from somebody that the trailer only includes the first 3 episodes of Season 6. Like, all the stuff in it is only from the first 3. And I'm like, wow, if that's true, Season 6 is going to be nuts because there's so much stuff in the trailer. It's crazy. It should be good, man. But remember, the first episode's an episode and a half. So, but still, that's crazy, man. And wow, you guys know. I'm not gonna say I'm excited. Yeah, you know, you know what it is. I'm always, that's it. Okay, moving on. Next one's from Alex, and he or she says, "Hey Trev, love your videos. Q&A question. My little brother came up to me the other day and asked, are any of the Walking Dead characters in the show the same as they were in the comics?" And I just sat there thinking, wow, I can't think of even one. So then he asked, who's most similar? I proceeded to think then, eventually said Eugene, maybe. I'm not really sure. I would love to hear your thoughts on who is most similar to their comic counterpart. Thanks, and keep up the great works, from Alex. That's a fun one. So we talked about recently how I view the television series, comic book series characters quite a bit different. So which characters are most similar? And he says Eugene. And yeah, that's a good call. I mean, Eugene is basically exactly the same. The differences between the comic book series Eugene and the TV series are almost non-existent. They're basically exactly the same. Same with the Abraham one, and with regards to that, like we saw a flashback with him, we saw some stuff that we didn't see in the comic book series, but I get the sense he's exactly the same as well too. Same with Rosita. So all of them are pretty much exactly the same. They haven't really changed anything about them. They're basically comic book verbatim. Other characters that are similar. Well, a lot of our leads are close in some ways, different in others. Oh man, I'm trying to think. So far, Jesse's been basically the same, pretty much, I want to say, for the most part. I mean, there's lots of characters you could look at. Any of the characters that I think, like Aaron, characters like that, I get mainly the same vibe from the TV series version as the comic book series version. But I'm interested to see as well, too, in the future, if they're going to handle the series more like Season 5, where it's like pretty much exactly the same, or if they're going to do it, well, not exactly, but there's a lot of similarities between the second half of Season 5 of comic books. It's very close. Or Season 3, if they're going to kind of get crazy again and start going nuts for a while and throw us through an Andrea loop and do all kinds of crazy stuff like that. I'm interested to see. I kind of like it when they do that. It's good. It's a good mix right now, where sometimes they just throw us through a loop with totally changing the characters, and other times they're pretty much exactly the same. Or somebody else takes another character's part. I like that. So they've been doing a great job, and again, I'm excited as always. Like I said. Next one's from the Walking Dead Geek, and this one I wanted to include too. He says, "Hey Trev, have you gotten any recent Walking Dead figures?" And I'll make this quick because I know a lot of people don't collect the figures. No, there's been a lot of ones released. There's a comic book series, Abraham, who again, he's so similar to the TV series version. I'm like, I'm not going to buy this. It's just a comic book series. illustrated version of him. It's basically the same, so there's no point in getting both to me anyway. The Carl is really cool, and I really wanted to get him. He's like comic book series Carl, but he's not the after time skip one, which if I have to think which Carl do I want the most, it's the after time skip one. So I'm going to hold out, and I'm going to wait, and hopefully they'll release the the I version with when he's going with Lydia and all that. That's probably the Carl that I would get. If I had to choose one. So I haven't gotten any of the new recent Walking Dead figures yet. No, when the Morgan one comes out and the Season 5 stuff comes out in figure form in a couple months, I'm probably going to buy those. But I'll let you guys know if I'm going to. I also skipped Gareth because I don't care too much for the Gareth figure. I'm like, Gareth, should I buy it? Should I? Whatever. I'm just going to skip it. Whatever. It's not really that necessary anyway. So let me know what you guys think about the figures they've been releasing lately. I think they're good, but the price is going up all the time for figures and stuff, and I've kind of been skipping most of it, to be honest with you. I might start buying some again in the future, and I'll review them if I do. But for now, I think I'm good for right now until the Season 5 stuff hits, which will be pretty soon. Let's do one more. This one's from Otter058. And he says, Otter058, could you do an introduction video about who you are, etc.? I've been following your channel for a long time, I guess is what he means. And I have seen it about your life time by time, but others didn't. Well, here's the thing, man. I don't do it too much anymore. I used to do that more. But I realized after a while, nobody really cares about me, per se, like personally. I mean, well, some of you guys are friends in that. But most people, they're here to hear about Walking Dead stuff and my thoughts on Walking Dead. Because, I have this weird obsession with it and all that weird, because I'm a weirdo, right? But I don't care so much about my personal life. So, and I've already put it all up there. I've older Q&As and stuff I did. I pretty much put everything out there. I mean, I'm a person who's very open about who I am for the most part, and I'm not really ashamed because I view people as everybody's got something that they're not 100% comfortable with about themselves, no matter what. And, to act like you don't or somebody doesn't is kind of foolish. Everybody has something like that. And there's no reason to feel embarrassed or whatever because everybody's got something that they feel, a little weird about. For me, it's collecting figures or stuff like that, the way others would perceive that. I just don't care. It's like, this is me. If you like me, great. If you don't like me, okay, that's fine. Cool, because there's other people who do. So that's fine with me. So I feel no need to be repetitive, Otter. I don't feel a need to go over stuff again that I've already kind of done in the channel years ago when the channel was getting started in that and being more kind of personal and showing you guys some of my stuff. And I might do some in the future again, but it's going to be very sparingly. It's going to be here and there, random. It's not going to be that much because I've already basically put it all out there anyway. I don't want to repeat. So, yeah, that's it. So let me know what you guys think about today's Q&A and what you think about that character, if he's Dwight or if you think he's a random. I'd say more likely he's random, but I think it'd be cool if he was Dwight too. And I'm not sure, because I did say that I think Daryl is Dwight. At least it seemed like it to me at the time. But, we'll have to see how it goes. I hope he is. Well, I don't know. That's a tough one. I kind of hope that he is in some ways, and in others, I hope he isn't. We'll see what happens with that, with the Daryl Dwight issue. Two guys with crossbows, though. I will stick to that. It will be a little bit weird if you get two guys on opposing sides that both use crossbows. Don't you think? I think so. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about all of that. If you like the video, you know what to do. Come on. Please thumb it up below. If you want to help support it, please share. Please favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, you can go ahead and subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this one, guys. We'll see you again really soon. Maybe tomorrow. As always, it's Trev. Saying peace? Yeah, I'm saying peace. See you guys.